The Mislabeled Mayhem of Max the Monster. On the bright yellow star of Alpha Leporis, Max the reckless red monster was getting ready for his next daring mission to Earth. His rude monster family had just summoned him for a new scheme, and Max could hardly contain his excitement. "Max, we have a very important task for you," his mother, the head rude monster, said in a stern tone. "We need you to go to the human children's homes and switch the labels on all their food jars. That way, when they try to eat their snacks, they'll be in for a big surprise." Max's eyes lit up with glee, and his big purple nose twitched with anticipation. "Ooh, switching labels. This is going to be so much fun," he cackled, rubbing his large hands together. Without further ado, Max hopped into his trusty little green car and blasted off towards the familiar blue and green planet of Earth. As he approached the bustling city, he quickly changed his face to look like a friendly, cuddly monster, the perfect disguise to lure unsuspecting children. Max landed his car in a quiet suburban neighborhood and began stealthily making his way towards the nearest house. He could hear the sounds of children's laughter and the clinking of dishes, indicating that the family was home and getting ready for a snack. Carefully, Max crept up to the front door and peeked through the window. There, in the kitchen, he could see a group of young children gathered around the table, eagerly opening up their snack jars. Max's grin widened, and he rubbed his hands together in anticipation. Slowly, he pushed open the door and slipped inside, his eyes darting around the room. The children, unaware of the monstrous intruder, continued to enjoy their treats, completely oblivious to the chaos that was about to unfold. Max couldn't resist the temptation any longer. He crept up to the table and, with a mischievous giggle, began to switch the labels on the jars, making sure to mix up the contents. "Haha, just wait until they try to eat these," he whispered to himself, his big purple nose twitching with glee. Suddenly, one of the children reached for a jar and pulled off the lid. Peanut butter," they exclaimed, only to be met with a mouthful of pickles. The other children erupted into giggles and laughter, their faces scrunching up in confusion as they tasted the unexpected flavors. Max, meanwhile, was cackling with delight, watching the chaos unfold. But just as he was about to switch another label, a loud voice rang out from the other room. "What's going on out there?" It was the parent, alerted by the commotion. Max quickly changed his face to look innocent, but the parent wasn't fooled. "You," they yelled, rushing towards the monster. "Get out of my house, you big, ugly beast." Max yelped and scurried back towards the front door, barely managing to escape the enraged parent. As he blasted off back to Alpha Leporis, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. "Oh, I didn't get to switch all the labels," he pouted. But deep down, Max knew that his days of reckless mislabeling were over, at least for now. He'd have to come up with a new plan to cause trouble on Earth, one that didn't involve quite so much confusion and chaos. When Max arrived home, his rude monster family was waiting for him. "Well, did you complete your mission?" they demanded. Max reluctantly recounted his failed attempt, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "I almost had it all switched around, but that stupid parent caught me," he admitted. His family members shook their heads in exasperation. "Max, you idiot. You had one job. And you couldn't even do that right," his mother scolded, her sharp fangs bared in a snarl. Max sighed, knowing that he had let his family down. But deep down, he couldn't help but feel a little proud of his daring mislabeling caper. After all, a monster like Max could never resist the temptation of a good prank, even if it meant occasionally getting caught. As for the future invasion of Earth, well, Max would just have to try a different approach next time. After all, the thrill of causing chaos was what he lived for, and he wasn't about to give that up anytime soon. The end, for now.
He's a monster, monster.